Hello guys, Manchester City are back in action. Football's actually returned. City have just beat West Ham 4-1 in the Premier League Asia Trophy, and I thoroughly enjoyed that game. Genuinely, it was an absolute whole bunch of fun. Really fun stuff, and I loved it. I've got loads to talk about from that game, but before we go too far, I am sponsored for the last time today actually by Unibet. So if you are doing me a massive favour, go and check out their transfer blog. Just click it in the link in the description below, honestly. If you don't read anything, fine, but just click it, give it a click. It helps support this channel. And it also helps end up this lovely little spell with 2 weeks with Unibet. Thank you, Unibet, for sponsoring this channel. Absolute heroes. Some great writers there, including some good City fans as well, like Stephen Tudor, who's a good friend of this channel. So go and check it out with the link in the description below. Thank you for supporting me, Unibet. Right, let's get on to this game, shall we? I've been looking forward to it so much, the fact that I actually booked half a day of work to watch it. As you can see, I'm sat at home in my City shirt. It wasn't the City shirt that they wore today. They wore the home one, which actually looked all right from far. But we beat West Ham 4-1, despite naming the most young, bold, fun team that we could possibly have named. In general, though, I was expecting nothing from this game because my general theory of pre-season friendlies is that they're totally win-win. Like, genuinely, you can't really... There's nothing to worry about in pre-season friendlies because even if we don't play well, even if everyone dropped to disaster class, like it wouldn't really matter because there's about 10,000 billion reasons why it'd be understandable. Pre-season friendlies, people aren't in great shape yet. They're not tuned up mentally. They're not tuned up sharply anywhere near their best. They've also obviously usually playing with a bunch of players they don't usually play with in terms of academy lads. Loads of people come back at different times. It's just very understandable for them not to play well. Then when you have the fact that they only got into China yesterday after like stupid complications getting there. It took them about 3 days to get there in the end. They've had no rest whatsoever. They've been travelling for 24 hours. And then you think, well, that's actually really impressive. So either way, when going into this game, I expected very little because I thought, yeah, you know, as long as a couple of players play all right, fair enough, that's what matters. Because West Ham have been there a little bit longer, a little bit ahead in their preparations. So this is why, in general, I see friendlies as something just to enjoy. Because if someone's poor, it's understandable. But if someone's good, you're like, well, that's nice. That's a nice positive. Maybe you get to see who's ahead of the curve a little bit. Maybe you get to see who's more up for it or a little bit fitter at the moment. But even if someone doesn't fit, it doesn't really matter. So they basically, games like today, when it ends up 4-1, brilliant, absolutely brilliant, because there's loads of positives to take from it, and the negatives, they just don't matter, in my humble opinion. I genuinely believe that. So I'm going to break this down today in a few parts. So I've just talked a bit about the game now, and I'll go into the team in a minute. I'm going to talk about the first half, second half, then the youngsters and the seniors, because I think that's all there is to talk about, really, in general about this game. So going into the first half, we named... a pretty interesting lineup. It was really bold. We had Claudio Bravo in goal. We had Danilo at right back. Taylor Harwood-Bellis, the young 17-year-old. He's been at City since he was like 6 or something like that. Stockport fan, but also a lot of big emotional ties to Manchester City, alongside Aymeric Laporte. Then Angelino, the returning Angelino at left back. Rodri, the new lad as well. The other new lad started at central midfield, in defensive midfield. With Tommy Doyle, Manchester City fan, the grandson of both Limpado and Mike Doyle, starting in midfield alongside David Silva. Just absolute Burt heaven. That genuinely amazing stuff to see him there. Him alongside David Silva. Then the forward three was just a bunch of kids. It was Carlo-Poveda, it was Adrian Bernabe, and Lukas Nmecha through the middle. So it was a really young team. And do you know what? I thought we were quite impressive. Like, it started off quite promisingly with Tommy Doyle showing just how good he is at set pieces, picking out Harwood-Bellis for a decent little header. Then Poveda missed what at that point was the biggest chance of the game after David Silva. Lovely reverse ball, put Poveda right through and goal, and he fired it right at the keeper. Nerves getting to the better of him. And there was some lovely little moments as well in general throughout the half, other than the goals. There was a really lovely like 1-2 from Nmecha and Doyle at one point. We had Poveda doing a little kind of flip-flap Ronaldinho thing to get away and get a shot thing. And then there was a lovely little great run from Bernabe as well, but he didn't have the final ball. But there's loads of kind of little intermittent moments of brilliance, and especially from some of the younger players, which is really encouraging, Doyle in particular, until, sadly, we went behind. Angelino was culpable of giving away a very soft penalty, if we're being honest. He kind of like laid down his back, and he did throw his back towards the ball, and it did hit the underside of his arm, so I couldn't complain too much. It's only pre-season friendly, but it was a soft penalty to give away, a bit of a stupid one to give away, but, you know, it happens. It's rustiness. And Noble, despite Claudio Bravo's best efforts to try and put him off, sent him the wrong way and put it... We didn't send him the wrong way, actually, but sent him the way that Bravo stood most. Bravo basically, in the middle, went to one side to try and put him off, but he still fired it that way and scored anyway. But City's reaction was genuinely fantastic. I mean, we should have given a second penalty away. Maybe. Like, Angelino basically put a foot in. it looks like Antonio went down a bit easily, but it could have been a penalty. Like, I don't know if it was or not. I only saw one blue replay in the stream that I was watching, but it could have been a penalty. Either way, it didn't really happen. City actually got a penalty of their own after, though, the first goal, which was fantastic. Adrian Bernabe kind of stepped inside, played a wonderful Messi-esque diagonal ball, literally beat the whole of defence. Silva's chest control and touch, and then first time volley into the bottom corner. Just sublime. Genuinely beautiful football. The moment, according to the commentators of the Premier League Asia Trophy so far at that point. Genuinely stunning stuff. A wonderful goal. And within a minute or two anyway, City were back in front after that. 2 goals in quick successions. This time the ball kind of fell a little bit loose. The major pounced on it, turned inside. He was definitely tripped at the bottom. Went down a bit soft, I'm not going to lie. But, it could have been a penalty. There was a couple of soft moments in this game, I think, in general. Wasn't going to complain, though. Some people would give it a pen, some people wouldn't. Either way, all I know is the Nmecha stepped up, brushed himself off, and fired it into the bottom corner to put City 2-1 up. And that was really nice. So a confident finish for the penalty there. And City 2-1 up at half-time. Second half, we saw quite a few changes coming on. Some of the big boys, arguably 4 of our very best players, Kevin De Bruyne, Leroy Sané, Raheem Sterling and Bernardo came on. Who did they come on for? The back four was basically the same, I think. So it was Bravo then, it was Danilo, Harwood-Bellis, Laporte and Angelino again, Rodri. And then De Bruyne came on for David Silva with Tommy Doyle staying on, which is really nice. And all the front three came off. So no Nmecha, Bernabe or Poveda in the second half with Sterling through the middle of the striker, Sané on the left and Bernardo on the right. And it was a really nice moment early on. Angelino looking a little bit more confident in this half, despite his poor first half. Picked up the ball, played a wonderful ball over the top to Leroy Sané. Generally the kind of stuff we'll see from Angelino, those kind of long raking balls with that kind of exocet missile of a left foot that he's got. Sterling couldn't quite get it in, Sané after a shot, but it didn't really matter in the end. And then we got the third eventually. It was a stunning ball from Leroy Sané. The ball kind of ricocheted him. And Sané, with his right foot from 30 yards, perfectly drilled it like an arrow with his weaker foot straight into the path, split the West Ham defence. Sterling was onside by about a metre, used his pace to get away and finished very, very coolly past the keeper. Genuinely, Sané, where did that come from? I've not seen that right foot from him before like that. It was absolutely beautiful. After that, there was a whole bunch of subs again. Gundogan came on, Stones, Zinchenko, Walker. Good thing about that, even though Stones came on, it was Laporte came off and Taylor Harwood-Bellis actually stayed on, which was great to get the 90 minutes. Danilo came off for Walker, Angelino off for Zinchenko, and Doyle came off for Gundogan, which seemed about fair, We should have had a pen after that. Sanchez absolutely clearly pushed Sterling in the back. Could have been, it should have been a pen, but it didn't really matter in the end, I guess. We did get the fourth goal eventually, though. Sterling through again. He didn't score, but a minute later, Kevin De Bruyne won the ball in midfield, played a little couple of passes with him and Sané. De Bruyne played across to Sterling and he fired it in. Lovely little stuff. And after that, we kind of the game wound down a little bit. A couple more substitutions, I think. Alex Garcia actually came on. Leroy nearly scored a blinder, skipping past a couple of people, but we were largely in control of the game. And it was good fun, which leads me on to the bit which you're probably all waiting for anyway, which is the youngsters. I thought they were absolutely fantastic. I'll pick out a few names in particular. I'll go through them all individually, actually. But they were genuinely brilliant. The energy, what struck me early on in the game is how comfortable they were in the team and how comfortable they were playing around, passing the ball from the back. It's just obviously so heartening to see these young lads, so young, be so comfortable in the team. I'm going to start, obviously, the one that was at centre-back, Taylor Harwood-Bellis, a 17-year-old. And he had 90 minutes. He was fantastic. Just so composed, passing around. Good in the air as well. Obviously, the game was very open, so he had quite a bit of defending to do, which was a little bit loose around him every now and then. But in general, you can just see why City have got such high hopes for this young lad. How could you not genuinely rate this lad? Just such a fantastically gifted young talent. Composed, calm, strong, good in the air. Only 17 too. He's going to get bigger, taller, stronger. Honestly, he's got a future at Manchester City Football Club. He's up there alongside Eric Garcia, but he's more physical. He's got a huge future. And one bit that particularly impressed me is in the 80th minute where he played a 1-2 around into one of their, might be Chikorito, or someone like that, in the City's area to play it out to Gundogan. It was just genuinely so composed, so calm. Tommy Doyle as well. Tommy Doyle, man, that is, if you're somehow watching this, Tommy, congratulations. You know, like, he's the City legends for grandparents, and he looked at times like a young Kevin De Bruyne. A couple of times where he just dropped his shoulder, beat the fullback, and drilled it in perfectly, or the little 1-2s, the little link-ups, whoever was on the right. Just so good, so composed in possession, great at set pieces, showed how comfortable he is on the ball in terms of his 1-2s, his give and takes, shows that he can create chances. He's a very direct player. Honestly, it was like watching a young De Bruyne, and he's 17 too as well. He's 17, and he's a Manchester City fan. His granddad is Mike Doyle, and his other granddad is Glimpardo. Could there be any more credentials than that as a Manchester City player? And he looked at home alongside De Bruyne. He looked at home alongside David Silva. What a future. Hopefully we'll see him in the League Cup at some point. In general, I think Bernabe was really good as well. He showed the talent he's got. Didn't quite get on the ball as much as he wanted to, but there was 2 moments in particular of sublime skill. A couple of 1-2s, but then the dribble away, he drifted past a couple of people, almost like a Messi-esque kind of like way of running with the ball. I'm not saying he's that level, but he runs in a similar way, and it's quite fun to watch. And that pass obviously was one of the moments of the actual game. Up there with Sane's pass, but just brilliant. Another very talented player, someone that hopefully we'll see a little bit more in the League Cup alongside Harwood-Bellis and Tommy Doyle. I thought Lukas Nmecha showed that he's obviously learned a lot on loan last season. I remember him playing 12 months ago and looking a lot slower with the ball, a lot leggy, a lot more nervous. This time he looked comfortable, he looked stronger, he looked bigger, he held up the ball pretty well. Didn't get loads to do, but he took his chance, his penalty really well. He's obviously improved, he's obviously ready for senior football somewhere else. He won't be a City, I don't think, but he's obviously getting better, and that's good to see. Poveda had a relatively, it was alright. It wasn't quite as an eye-catching cameo as the others, I don't think, really. But he had one nice little bit of skill. He did miss a decent chance, a couple of decent little runs, but didn't quite kind of clamp his authority on the game, which kind of, I think that's understandable given everything. Other than that, I don't think any other kids got on really. I think it was just them, the likes of Ben Knight and all that, and Dionko, Nabil Touazy, they're all just left on the bench. Correct me if I'm wrong there, but I think I covered everyone in terms of the youngsters, which brings me on to the senior players. Claudio Bravo, great to see him back in the team. Genuinely love his stuff, because obviously the injury he had last year was very painful. It's the kind of injury that just must be a nightmare as an athlete, restricting you walking when you've got a young family. I know he's not the greatest, but it's just nice to see him back, and he's slowly trying to morph into me with that whole beard thing. And I've shaved mine off, but me and Claudio, you can't beat me, Claudio. Who are you kidding? By the way, I'm loving talking about football again. Manchester City actual games. It's so nice, so much more interesting than transfer stuff. Just putting it out there. Right back, Danilo, just, it was an alright game, bombed forward a little bit, it was alright, nothing overly notable. Caught one-on-one a couple of times, but it was just such an open game. Stones, who played at centre-back at one point, looked tough, he looked resilient when he came on, didn't have loads to do defensively, but, looked like he means something. Laporte was just Laporte. What I will say in general, by the way, Harwood-Bellis played both left and right side centre-back during the game alongside over those two and looked equally comfortable. Just something I forgot to add in the other bit. But Laporte, some lovely passes, strong in the air as always. Angelino, it wasn't good if I'm being honest. I can't deny it. But as I said earlier, there's loads of reasons why it could be understandable. Angelino is a very good footballer. He was caught out a little bit a few times defensively. Could have given a couple away penalties. Could have given a couple of penalties away even. My English went to pot there. But he did show, obviously, he's very technically good. I don't suspect we'll see him that exposed in the first team game. He'll obviously have a lot more kind of people doubling down on him. Like, Poveda didn't get back as much in the first half as he should have done, really, I think. And maybe Rodri wasn't quite ready to pull over yet and all that kind of stuff. But it's just rustiness. He'll be fine. He's an excellent footballer. I'm not going to write someone off after 45 minutes of a pre-season friendly, because that's totally unfair, isn't it? Rodri in midfield. Rodri, I didn't realize how big he was for one. Like, I knew he was big, but not how big, you know what I mean? We've only got a small team, but he's an absolute beast of a player, and there were some moments of real cool composure. Yes, he's definitely not quite up to speed with the rest of the team yet, but that will come with time. But in general, I'm so excited to see him. Like, there's some lovely passes, he's obviously strong, he's physical, he wants to move the ball around. He's going to be such an asset when he learns to play in Manchester City's first team alongside the best players. He's going to be great. Zinchenko came on second half, looks really positive as well. Nice little cameo there. He's obviously looking more and more senior in this team. He's very comfortable in his own skin, and that was lovely to see. David Silva looked like a young academy lad out there. I tell you what, David Silva's hair is looking beautiful at the moment. As a kind of curly-haired guy myself as well, his hair was absolutely on point, and his performance as well. Genuinely, what a finish for that goal. Some of his 1-2 movements. He's not done yet, lads. He is not done in the slightest. He's going to have another good season, be very, very useful. Gundogan as well. He's going to stay around. He won't go anywhere, even if he doesn't sign a contract. And I thought his cameo was particularly impressive impressive. Likewise, De Bruyne just creating chances, pure Kevin De Bruyne. Sane and Sterling had loads of fun when they came on. I thought Sane's cameo was fantastic, great assist, loads of running, loads of skill. Didn't get the goal that he wanted, but I also loved how visibly annoyed he was himself when he missed a pass or two. Sterling, as a striker, good fun, couple of goals, loads of energy. What's not to like? He looks really motivated. Bernardo Silva was usually Bernardo, just loads of energy, loads of effort. Who else have I missed? Alex Garcia got a nice little cameo, decent little performance for him. Probably someone else I've probably missed, but in general, that's just about everyone. The seniors looked okay, and it was a good game. Overall, I enjoyed it a lot. I think the players were clearly motivated. I think it's obvious that Pep's got them into the head again, and I love the fact there was no notable drop-off in display in terms of the style. We're obviously still Manchester City. This football is still clearly ours, and we scored 4 goals in pre-season when we've had every reason to not be great today, despite everything. I love pre-season friendlies. I think they're good fun. I think they're a good excuse to see something exciting. The young lads did themselves proud. The first teamers came back and scored a few goals, and what's not to love about that? Guys, I hope you enjoyed this relatively in-depth look at the video. Let me know what you thought about the game in the comments below. Who impressed you the most? Who are you looking forward to seeing more of the next game? I think we play Wolves in the final of this Premier League Asia Trophy now. I'm all talked out. Thank you once again to Unibet for sponsoring this channel. This is the last time they're sponsoring this channel today, so make sure you hit the link in the description below. Trust me, just click it. And then even what close it after that, don't worry about it. Just click it because it helps keep the channel going and it helps hit the targets and all that kind of stuff, if you know what I mean. We all have targets, sponsorship stuff. And then also, thank you to the patrons who help keep this channel going as well. Absolute heroes. Patreon.com/Esteemed Company if you want to get a shout out. Right, subscribe if you're new. I'm looking forward to the more games in the preseason now because that was a lot of fun. In a bit.